What's up guys, it's CG. So this is going to be a thorough review of Royal Oud by the House of Creed. First I'm going to give you guys a rundown so you have a general idea what the fragrance is about. Then I'm going to share how users rated the scent profile and the performance. My wife and I are going to share our impressions of it. And finally, I'm going to share my overall opinion having worn it. Without further ado, let's get this started. So I would describe Royal Oud as the embodiment of masculinity. Think fresh cut wood, think cigars, think of literally the smell of cash, and think of just that masculine, manly smell. It's a very woody, very beautiful, fresh fragrance. In the top you have pink pepper, lime, galbanum, bergamot. In the heart you have angelica seeds, cedarwood, cardamom, and clove. And in the base you have musk, ambroxan, frankincense, gaiac wood, and oud. And I should let you know that even though it's in the name and in the notes, the oud is completely undetectable. This is a cedarwood fragrance, not oud at all. The overall scent rating is an 8.2. 72% of users gave it an 8 or above, and 41% gave it a 9 or a 10. I'm going to let you know that I think this fragrance is a 10, but I also can understand that's very subjective to me. This isn't a crowd pleaser, and it's definitely not going to be everybody's cup of tea out there. I actually thought the rating distribution would show more signs of polarization than it does, but you have to remember people who are on Parfumo actually rating fragrances are really deep into fragrances. And those type of people I feel are much more likely to appreciate and enjoy what the scent is offering. For longevity, I got an average rating of a 7.6. 3 out of 4 people would give it a 7 or an 8. That's the most common rating. So some people think it's a little good and some people are indifferent, but very few people think it's bad or it's really good. And I kind of sit in the middle the same way. I feel like it has decent longevity. I don't think it's anything to write home about, but I also don't think it's like scented water either. I get about a good 5 to 6 hours out of it. For Sillage, it got an average rating of a 7.1 with the key vote being 7. About half of all of the voters said it's a 7 out of 10 as far as how well it projects. Me personally, I would give it an 8 because I received quite a few compliments on it and I feel like it really does push out for quite a bit of time. Before I describe the scent profile of it, I'll let you know up front, this is a fragrance enthusiast fragrance. This isn't one for somebody like new into this that's really looking for compliments, really looking for something crowd pleasing. A lot of people around you are not going to understand this type of fragrance or why you'd be wearing this. You will get compliments, it does smell good, but let me just let you know, this is like definitely more of a vibe than it is like a typical warm fall fragrance or a typical citrus, bright, soapy fragrance. This is more of a masculine vibe. This is one of the most manly smelling fragrances I've ever smelt. And what makes it manly is it's cedarwood front and center. Almost like you're in like the wood section of a Home Depot and you can just smell the woods. Compressed, condensed into a liquid and sprayed onto you. Cedarwood front and center, but the whole cedarwood thing, the way it's blended is fresh. And that's one of the things I love about Royal Oud is it's surprisingly fresh for such a woody fragrance. If you're not really into woody fragrances as much, this one is definitely still worth trying because the way it hits, it's just like a blast of fresh wood in your face. And then as it dries down, that wood kind of becomes more of like a smell of cigars to me. Not like any smoking of cigars or anything like that, but literally smelling a cigar. And it kind of has this cash money cigar, old school woody vibe that it gives off. Like one of the things it makes me think of is like a vintage man in like the 50s dressed nicely in a house that has like all brown furniture and that typical 50s styling of things. It also makes me think of a man who's like rugged, like a man who's maybe like a roughneck, somebody who works hard and has clothes that are, you know, obviously been through a lot of use, but also takes care of himself, is cleanly showered, just maybe has like a denim jacket, blue jeans that are kind of worn out. That kind of vibe of just rugged masculinity. I don't get the gentleman vibe that people talk about with this one. I get that with Bois de Portugal, like spices and lavender. With this one, I'm getting like a cigar vibe, like a cigar smoking man. And when I grew up in Texas, and we'd go out to the country, and the type of men that I knew that smoked cigars didn't smoke like super expensive Cubans in their suit and ties. They smoked like backwoods out in the country doing fireworks on the 4th of July. So I associate that type of cigar smell with almost like a southern bar vibe, like almost a cowboy scent to me. Like I said though, not everybody's gonna understand you wearing this. I'll share one of my only embarrassing stories from wearing a fragrance. My wife's family is from Puerto Rico and they came here, and some of them are smokers, we're not, so we don't have an ashtray. So they made an ashtray out of like a water bottle with some water in it, and they're putting their cigarettes out in that. I sprayed a bunch of Royal Oud on. I walked outside onto the patio, and somebody said that, hey man, that ashtray's stinking up the place. Like I could smell those cigarettes from here. And then someone else commented, that's impossible because I put a cap on top of the water bottle that the cigarette butts are in. And I'm just standing there like, I didn't want to say it, but I think they figured out it was me. So it's like, I'm not saying it smells like used cigarette butts, but it does kind of have that type of masculine vibe. Like if you ever been in almost like a pickup truck after somebody has smoked a cigar in it, and you imagine that smell, that manly smell, it does have that. And that's one of the things I love about it. It just feels so manly to wear, but it's also one of those things that not everybody's going to understand it. Not everybody's going to like this one, and it's not always appropriate to wear it. But that's, what niche fragrances are about to me. They don't have to all be crowd pleasing. Sometimes it's nice that one gives you a vibe, and I love just the masculine vibe, the deep cash money smell, masculine cigars and wood vibe that this gives off. I think it's absolutely phenomenal.
Interesting. So very different from what you would think about as a fall or winter fragrance, because at least me, I think about more like gourmand or things that smell like cinnamon or something like that for winter. This one really smells really classic, like a classic men's perfume. But it has like a darkness to it, like dark powdery. I don't know, I'm the worst to describe scents, but I can tell you that it is a more mature scent, definitely. So this is for someone, I'm gonna go 35 and up, okay? And fall and winter time, very good. I give it an 8.
So Creed Royal Oud is definitely for me. I want to always have a bottle. It's just special. It's just manliness. It brings me back to such good memories being out, and it's so masculine. I mean, I said it probably 100 times in this video, but I really mean it. This is really up there with the classy, masculine, woody, beautiful fragrance. Yeah, feel free to comment with y'all's opinions, subscribe for future content, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.